I'm waiting on it to come up on the StreamYard side, the YouTube side. I mean, come on now. Come on, here we go.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody.
You hear my phone.
Well, welcome to the Coin Corner. I want to welcome my guest, Robert from CoinOp and Travis from Lemonhead Penny.
What's happening, everybody?
How's it going, guys?
Hello, everyone in YouTube land.
Hello.
Amy.
We got Christina and Rivendell and Lincoln and Hoosier Hillbillies here. There's Amy. Hi, Amy. I hope you're feeling better, honey.
There.
It's good to see everybody.
Wishing you don't feedback. Almost forgot to mute my watch page.
I'm sorry, guys. I was having some technical problems with my microphone. I think I've got too many cameras and too many mics on for too little of a computer.
I keep telling you, man, all you got to do is get a hold of Hidden. He'll do a good job for you. And
Yeah, I actually need a bigger computer. This is true. I mean, I have not had a problem up till now, but I think there's an external problem with my third camera here. So,
okay.
But anyway, we were going to talk about some mint sets and proof sets and things like that. And I know I like to collect sets myself. I like the older sets, which I happened to purchase this from Robert a while back. You remember that, Robert?
Not really, but I'll take your word for it. Looks like my handwriting.
Yeah, it's a 1954.
Oh, nice.
In original packaging.
Yeah.
And that's the way they used to come back in the day.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And if you can acquire one of these, you're doing pretty good because they're kind of hard to find.
And the originals are getting harder and harder as every
They
day.
really are. I know Joe's picked up a few, and he's actually the one that kind of got me into collecting them. And I like the older sets like this. This is a proof set done in a. Is that a capital holder, guys?
Yeah, it looks like a capital holder.
Hey, I agree with Travis. Looks like one.
But the way to tell is if it's got the scratch on it on the side somewhere. That way you never mess them up. You line them up right.
Yeah.
All the capitals have scratch, like one straight line score, like a cabinet maker's mark. You know, when they'll put a V on multiple pieces so that they can only put the pieces back in the same order.
Right. This is 1952.
That's really good looking.
Yeah, it's a good looking 52 set.
Got Superbird on it?
Huh?
Does it have Superbird in it?
I don't know. I haven't really checked it.
About 50% of them, I'd say 50% of them have Superbirds on it.
Huh.
Right on.
I can, on the quarter?
Yes, on the quarter. It'll be right in the middle of the eagle's breast. It'll look like.
Let me change cameras real quick.
Oh boy, here we go.
No.
Everybody get full of grace.
Here we go.
Keep your fingers crossed.
I see it looks like a token there.
Okay, can you guys still hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, good. That means something's working. All right.
Well, you had it right there. Go back up. Go up. The other up.
Huh?
The other up.
The other up.
Go the other up.
Yeah, hello. Not too far. Now go down a little bit. Stop.
Let me
get off. I don't see it.
Huh?
I don't see it. Wait a minute. I don't know. I can't.
Are you looking? It's concave is what you're looking for?
No, they're not concave. They are obtuse. Yeah. You're not right.
Is that okay?
Yeah, I can see it. I don't think that's it. Go to. Let me see the tail feathers. Right there. Oh, too far. Whoa, ho, 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 ho. Okay, yeah. This is not. This is the normal one.
You got lathe lines though. I just saw them in the wings. That's a that's like an error on other years that they say to look for. I didn't know that was the year. They're
Ah.
vertical and they're thick. They look like die cracks. They're actually lathe lines.
Now on the Robert, on the 1963 FS 101 on the quarter,
Yes.
is that on the that's on the obverse, right?
If it's a 1943 FS
No,
101, if it's an FS
63.
a 1963 FS 101 is going to be in a mint set, and it's going to be on the quarter, and it'll be on In God We Trust as the pickup point.
Okay, on the Philly or on the Denver?
The Philly.
Okay, here's the Philly.
Turn it over to the obverse.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go to In God We Trust.
I'm looking. It's
Right there. Oh, that's it. That's the one. That's a double die obverse Viva Stanton 101. I can tell just by looking at it.
Yeah, look at the R.
Yep.
The O jumped out to me.
Yeah, and the O. G. That's wild looking.
Nice. Is that a set you got for me too?
What doubling is that, Robert?
Actually, I think I bought this one off you, Robert. It's one of the sets I bought. But that's a nice one.
Strong, huh?
Huh?
I think my eyes just got adjusted and I see even more than I did at first. And I said it's pretty strong, the doubling on it.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, it's a nice one. It's a class 2 double die.
Class 2, okay. Sweet.
Try to block some of that shadow off or shine off it. I can't. There we go.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, that's strong, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's a nice double die to find. You can find those if you have a 1963 mint set, guys. Look at the Philadelphia Washington quarter. That's not the only thing to look at in the 63s, but that's the most prominent that I'm aware of.
Right.
You can look also in the Denver, and I believe in the, I don't remember if it's Denver or Philadelphia, but there's a double. Well, if you got a 63 mint set, look at every coin closely. Would be
Yeah, because these are all, this is the Denver part of it, but yeah, it's pretty neat. So I like these older sets. And, but I just like collecting mint and proof sets. I like them and they're let me get my camera off me here. There we go.
Here, I'm scratching my ear.
Huh?
I said, here, I'm scratching my ear. You got me scratching my ear.
Okay, let's see.
Pick my nose or something, make you feel better. I just, or
Okay, well.
so are we gonna sit and just check all your proof sets for you?
No, I just wanted to. I knew I had this one, and I wanted to show people that you can find them in sets.
Smart.
You can find them in sets. I'll tell you another thing I like to go through with these. These are one of my favorites. Is the SMS sets.
Yeah, I spent a small fortune on them at one time. There's a lot of grades to be had still, you know. In there's 3 years. In 1 year it's the dime, 1 year the nickel. Where like the highest known grade is like 66, and then you can catch them in cameo, deep cameo. So if you get the cameo coins, because they weren't set out that way, and 66 isn't a crazy grade, or plus or 7, you know. and you're talking a lot of dough. It's like, so, guy, you know, I come across 67 coin all the time, but I haven't, not with the cameo or deep cameo.
Right.
So, yeah, now I mean, it drove it home the value if you were to find one, because they're hard. It's not easy.
Well, and a lot of people look for the little blue boxes, but the 65s come in this type.
Yep.
In the envelopes, there's a couple of them.
Yeah.
And they're great to go through. I just like collecting them myself. And I like the special mint sets because if you do find one in cameo, a lot of times it can be worth a little bit of money.
Don't forget the special mint sets. There's certain years, now not all of them, but there's certain years full steps are a bonus as well, but you have to add to it a grade.
Right.
Yeah, they stopped making proof sets because they were having a shortage, like they supposedly are now, with change, but they blamed the coin collectors.
Yep.
The hobbyists had caught the blame for it unofficially, you know, like, so the government stopped making them. Well, what happened was that really ticked off coin collectors. That shows you the kind of power coin collectors have, because they made enough fuss that the government made those sets there to appease them. So that's pretty cool to know, because that's really business strike coin. It's not proof coin. It's not made the way proof is made.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Robert told me they polished the dies a little more or something, wasn't it, Robert?
The planches.
They were like they were satin. They were actually satin. I read that. It's they were business class coin with satin finish. So it's a finish somewhere in between business strike and proof. That's what they were going for. Who knows the actual whys?
I'm still partial to these old type sets. I like these things. I just like the way that they display, and of course it's got Lincoln and I's favorite coin in it, the Ike.
I think coin pops on red. I see red.
It does
As a background in photo, etc. And it's like, it seems to be a real complementary color for all the copper, the clad silver. But yeah, I like those sets too. I know Lincoln does. They got an $8 in them.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of them. Now, another way I've got a few of these. These are mint sets that are in these type cases as well.
Yeah, that's a capital.
Yeah, the capital. I like the capital cases myself, and just a good way to present them.
Yeah,
like this is a 58 set, my birth year actually. So
nice.
That's the reason I have that one.
And those are proof? They're all proof?
No, these are mint. This set here, this is a 50
year set.
That's a 52. That's a proof set. This is a mint set. And you can see the difference.
I'll be right back.
You can still get those holders.
Really?
Yeah, they still sell them and make them.
I didn't know they made them anymore. I really, really like the way that you can display them holders, especially if you're into, mint and proof set. But my advice would be, if you do have print mint or proof, is to do the research on it, because each year there's different varieties and errors you can find. Some have no S's. There's several for each year usually to look for.
I didn't know we were talking about mint, so I just beefed up on proof, but I got quite a bit of the cool stuff information. You know what I mean?
Cool.
The mint does all kinds of. There's a lot of ways proof coins come. They don't just come just in a proof set. That you could sign up for a program and get one every year, because you can do that. People have been doing it for 40 years. It started in 36, and but they also made them in these these off-ball sets that they're really low mintage, and there's proof coin in them. So it's like if you're really stickler for like getting a specimen of everything that there is in proof, which is not a hard thing to do, from the first year 36 on and all the different ways it came. I mean,
Right.
really, it wouldn't be a huge undertaking to acquire all of it. But other modern proof coins, you got the 94, and that was a Matt Jefferson nickel, and they only minted 167,000 of those babies. That's a nice number. Then there was a Matt Jefferson in 97 Philadelphia. They authorized 25,000 to be struck, but they didn't even use up the full amount. So that's usually dictated by how their sales are going that year as they sell them. The 98 Matt Kennedy half dollars, those are 62,000 minted. And then you got 2014, they did a Kennedy half dollar set. They was included in the 50th anniversary of the Kennedys. And then you had the reverse cameo. I don't know if you guys remember that one in 2014. I've actually had a few of those. And that's a nice set, reverse cameo.
Yeah, I like them.
Bullion coins like that a lot. And it's the Kennedys, and they're really good looking. And again, super low number. They authorized 225,000. They only made 219. And then the 2015, the Roosevelt dime cameo, and then the key date Roosevelt for 2015. It was West Point minted. That's an awesome set.
Now I have some of them, but not all of them. But it would be nice if you had that collection.
I didn't know that they actually struck the that Kennedy half dollar. There's one in gold too.
Oh,
24 karat gold, 69,000 of those. I didn't know that. Wow.
I didn't either.
The Kennedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First cameo. I bet that sucker's beautiful, man.
Yeah, well, I can tell you right now, the Mint and the A&A about got sued because all the dealers up in Chicago was taking and paying homeless people, giving them money, telling them if they get one of the sets, then they bring them to them, they get a handsome reward. Well, there ended up being fights in the lines and all kinds of
Oh
stuff.
my Lord!
So even then, because I wasn't privy to that, so they had the household limit on it. Then probably one per household.
Exactly, that's what it was. Yeah. You did mention the 95.
Last time for the proof eagle that came out, they did the same thing. They were advertisements everywhere for, hey, if you buy it, we'll pay the bill and you just have it shipped straight to us, and we'll give you $200 just for the doing of that.
Wow.
Yeah, and 200 is actually cheap. I think they took in on that golden Kennedy. Man, they took in. They was giving pretty good premiums. I don't know. Maybe you know what? It started out low, Travis. From the stories I heard from the dealers up there, started out at $50 premium. You know, they give them $50 after they got it and brought it to their table.
Yeah,
And then it ended up going to 200. Then it doubled whatever the set was. It got crazy for a while.
Oh, because I could imagine that the value of the coin itself, as they were finding people to do that, because it probably, at first you don't know. Are they going to be able to get all of them that are minted? It's a small number, or as many as they can. So it probably was dictated by the supply of guy that was willing to do it.
Yeah, well, just look at the 2000. What was that last Eagle that sold out in a matter of an hour?
19, right? This
I think it was 2019. Yeah.
Yeah, and you buy it, and once you bought it, you can make $1,000 profit throwing it up on eBay.
Oh,
Yeah, that's crazy.
That, some of them. They did the same thing. They were paying them like a bounty, they were paying people just to purchase a coin for them with their money, and then because they only could get one. Yeah, crazy, man. Loophole. It's a loophole.
Yep.
They don't care. They're in the business of selling coin.
95 was a good year if you got that special mint set with the gold set. It had the 1995 W Silver American Eagle, which today that thing goes for somewhere in the tune of between $5,000 and $15,000, depending upon
Wow.
the grade of it. Yeah, not bad for a 95.
Yeah, really. That's a lot of money for that newer of a coin.
Well, I owned one for a minute.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I took it. I got it out of a scrap bin, believe it or not, and it
Oh
came
my Lord.
graded.
She's scrapping.
Yeah, believe it or not, Travis.
I believe you.
Yeah, it came back graded a mint state, or I'm sorry, a proof 68 ultra deep cameo.
Oh my Lord.
And it would have been much better, but there was a small thumb scratch, very small, but that I'm certain that's what kept it from getting, the high grade.
Oh yeah, it's amazing that that's all it had for being where it came from.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's one of those days that's a good day, boy.
The dealer didn't even know what it was, and I told him, I said, that's the American Silver Eagle. And he grabs a hold of it and holds it up. He said, "Will you give me $100 for it?" I said, "Pay the man."
Heck yeah. Then you got the prestige sets, right?
Yep.
They made those from 83 to 97. And the difference with the prestige sets were that they gave you the regular standard issue proof, nickel, dime, quarter, half, and then it had a commemorative.
Right.
So that's what was the special deal about them.
Yeah, I've got a couple of them.
Number. There's quite a few of them in years that they're under 100,000 mintage.
Yeah.
And even with that low number, they're out there. They're pretty relatively easy to get. I think all the dealers ended up, they bought them up. They weren't as popular as I think they thought they were going to be. So that's why they don't
but they're a beautiful set. I love the Prestige.
I think they're gorgeous. I love
I
the
do too.
presentation. The way they're super safe, the way that they encapsulated them. I mean, they're great. The key date's kind of expensive opposed to the rest of them. I think it's like maybe $200-300.
You see a lot of the Liberty, and there's a couple others. I think the Eisenhower, not Eisenhower. Yeah, Eisenhower or somebody. There's two of them together on the coin.
A couple years that you're.
Yeah, there's a few years that they made more than they did other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like them. Like you said, it's a commemorative proof with your proofs. I mean, you can't have, and they're all silver. The proofs that they put in with them, and there was a few years where you actually got the commemorative, and then you got like an extra commemorative half also.
Yeah, I got the half on some of them.
Yeah, not all of them, but some of them.
No, some of them they did.
And then the silver proof sets, the just silver proof sets, and plus 1976, they did a silver proof set. That was bicentennial, so that was the only one until 92 to present. And they do, and those are low numbered. I think it's they're only 60,000 every year, I believe. Don't hold me 100% to that, but
something like that. There's not a whole lot of them.
Yeah, and they're all the silver, the quarter, the dime, and the half. And they do a silver quarter, just the quarters. And then they have like what's it called? And they only made them for like 3 years, and I've been trying to find some, and I haven't came across any. I wonder if Rob, what are those? Dang it, they made them for like 3 years. They're kind of like the currency set, the currency and the coin, but there's a different name for them.
I don't know, Robert might know that. I don't.
I'm sitting here trying to figure out what I'm certain once you say it, I'll understand what you're talking about, but I'm not certain what you're saying.
I know you can buy something like this.
They ran like it was kind of like a coin and currency set, but it's not the coin and currency, and they only made it for like 3 years, I think. But it was proof, and it was oh darn it,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'll find it right here. Oh, limited. Well, they have limited edition silver proof sets also.
I know they made like the Susan B. Anthony set, and I think this is uncirculated. Yeah, this is uncirculated, and I've got another one that's got the proof set.
Yeah, those are the mid set.
Yeah, I've got some silver sets here somewhere in all this mess, but I don't know. I got a drawer full of sets here.
Hello, Oz. How you doing? Good to see you.
You know, let me go back over on the YouTube side because I can't see chat there. I haven't got it popped out. Hey, Oz. Oz here. Bubbles is here. Hello, Bubbles. Young Coin Hunters here. Thank you for being here. Let's see. Who else we got?
Oh, that's nice. The limited edition silver proof sets come with the Eagle also, and they're limited to 50,000 a year. They can't make more than 50,000 a year of the set. That's pretty cool.
They get expensive too.
Yeah, I've owned the 2012 one. We had in the shop for a long time, and I had planned on getting it a few times, but I just assumed it would sell, and never. It was still there. It was at that time. I want to say like 250, you know, which I think it's because it was first year, but they're not all that pricey. But yeah, man, those kind of numbers and images on sets put it so that if you are keeping it for 10, 20 years and you know it's going to kids, grandkids, whoever, somebody's going to inherit it, it's going to be worth more down the road. It's almost a certainty, with the exception of not even having to worry where silver's at. But you always have that also. You stand a chance of silver being worth way more 10 years from now.
Right.
But right now the coin's numismatic values all way exceed their silver content by far. But it's like these sets, they're steady gainers, the limited ones, and you just gotta hold on to them. It's not an overnight thing. You find out there's always the one coin or the one set, or the 4-coin Jackie Robinson commemorative set that you never know which one's going to be the one that's worth $2,000. You know, no, all the rest of them are still pretty. Yeah,
Right.
So that's why the programs are really good. You sign up, you out of sight, out of mind. It comes out of your credit card every year, and they send you one of each. You know, whatever you sign up for.
Yeah, who would have believed that a set in the original blocks like that would bring $150, $200?
With Scotch tape,
You know?
from the mint. That's wonderful.
Give it time, it's going to go up. One of the things, though, as you're saying, Travis, is that also the 2000. What year they coming out with the ultra high relief double eagle? Was that 2009?
I don't remember.
I believe it was 2009. They're supposed to limit it to 50,000. They had such a run on it. They released the limit and they upped it, and they ended up selling 88,000 or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of people got a little upset about that because they was invested in getting the key.
Yeah, right. So they ran that extra amount, that 30 some odd thousand, same year, like the end of the year.
They immediately, I think it was released, I want to say mid-year, and before they took in, they sold out almost immediately. Well, then the next day, the mint come back and said, well, we're going to release we're going to lift the limit. And they did, and they sold out, they said, until, whatever. Well, they ended up selling the 35, or like you say, 30-some thousand additional, like 32,000 additional. But they upset a lot of collectors.
Yeah, because I'd say a lot of people.
The first 50,000 people, theirs was worth X amount at 50,000. Done. That day, that year, it's the value.
Correct.
For 30,000, when they kept selling with the same speed, that's just making the other ones lose value as they were. Yeah, so I would be upset too, especially when it's legislation. These things are already, they had plenty of time to come up with their outline, whatever they're going to do, the numbers. It's all said and done before they even turn the press on.
It was supposed to have been at least.
Yeah.
Hello, Johnny Ray. I seen you in there.
I would say I'm surprised, but I'm not, because I know politics and politicians and how they are, and it's not a big surprise that a politician would pull something like that. They couldn't help themselves. The opportunity to make a buck.
And I think that's what it was. Is that right there? The mint had a little bit more gold than they needed.
Yeah, don't think that it's coin collectors. It really is kind of weird. It's a bunch of people who aren't coin collectors or numismatists that they really, it's them that make it all possible. It's because they are the ones that the monies, the undergoings, the precious metals, and mint to be built, etc. It's all done through legislation. There's not one coin in this country or bill that we as a country make that it wasn't tied directly to legislation. It had to be voted on. It had to be agreed upon. That's how everything that we make is done.
Supposed to be.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, take it with a grain of salt. It's because it's how often politicians or people in power abuse it. So yeah, it's as vulnerable as any part of the government. But pretty much they cater to us. All these things are done. The proof coin in particular is the greatest example because they're only made for collectors. There's no reason for anybody to have a proof coin because that's the definition of a proof. Proof is to say this is what the rest of them are supposed to look like in its best day. It's what you judge the rest of them by are the proofs. So it's we're the only ones that need them are collectors.
Right.
Yeah.
To answer your question, young coin hunter, the mint they don't buy silver like me and you do. They buy it by the ton, literally by the ton. And they get big blocks of it. And actually the only people that can truly, you and I buying silver and or gold will not affect the market too much. But when a country does, that will affect the markets pretty quick.
Yeah. Like the brothers that cornered the Hunt brothers. They had I read a story about the first big lot that they had bought, and when they like crashed the market or made it go up, before they took physical possession of it, it was still on the bed of a stake bed truck. That's how much it was. It was a truck bed full of silver. I bet that was a pretty sight. And before it had even gotten to them, they had made like millions of dollars because of their purchase. The purchase itself, it like messed with the price. They price fixed. They cornered the market. Those guys were self-made, came out of nowhere, man. Billionaires.
Well, they were oil billionaires prior to. Their daddy was.
Yeah.
And what a lot of people don't realize is now, because of what you just said, Travis, is now when you buy gold and or silver, you take and you don't pay for it until it's delivered. And at the time, the exact minute that you purchase it, when it comes to your door, they check the time, they look at the spot price, and that's what you pay. You don't pay in advance like they did back then because of that exact
reason. A lot of people that have it now is to do the buying, never even seeing it, because of the service these metal companies in these places. They have vaults. You buy it from them, and supposedly they store it in their own vault. You never have to worry about the possession of it or having it at home or a safe, etc. So it's like it's just imaginary. It's just out there in the computer land, the internet. Really, when you wire, you don't see monies, but you still have money. You have these numbers in your account. It's really a trust system.
Well, it is, but I want everybody out there in coin world to know this. It seems to me like it was in the 80s, 90s that what you're talking about, Travis, is exactly, it's paper, what they call paper, gold and silver.
Every day.
But I can't remember if it was the 80s or 90s. I remember reading about it that there was several dozen of those because of the price and fluctuation. They had more paper than they had physical gold and silver. And that's what happened. A lot of people lost a lot of money. I refuse to buy paper, gold, or silver. If I buy it, I want to own it. I want to feel it. I want to lick it if I want to.
I want to feel it in my hand.
Dropping it on my toe and breaking my toe. It's my toe, my silver.
Exactly.
I'm with you on that one. It's the
Gold
same.
or silver. I want it in my hand.
Oh yeah, you can. And God, all of them, you would need 1,000 hands by now. I'm just saying, and big ones, you know. And yeah,
I don't know. Joe Durbin just walked in the room, man. Alden,
I was just gonna say now. Joe's here now. Welcome, Joe.
yeah, maker, you have supplier, and
It's supposed to be up here, Joe.
consumer. But like airplanes, every single airplane sells more tickets on purpose than the plane holds. Every flight, because they know on average they're going to have X amount of cancellations and last minute, if people don't make it, and it almost always down to like 1 or 2 people that they overbooked, that they got to tell, sorry, you don't get your seat you paid for a month ago. And it's not, you know, it's crazy. They're out there on the stock market floor selling gold and silver, and they know they're selling more than there is if everybody had called in their marker and said, hey, I would like to take delivery. That's crazy. I think it was in the 90s too, but I wouldn't doubt it's happened more than once. You know,
I'm lost to say somewhere.
It just about happened again, Travis, here whenever the market just crashed.
Yeah.
Everybody had been taken in that, I mean, just a mini crash, but everybody, when silver dropped and gold dropped here within the last 2 months, 3 months, they took it as because everybody was selling all their paper silver, trying to get money to cover their shorts.
Yeah.
On other markets.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's crazy. Then you read, or I'll come across articles, and then because I'm not really into it that much, you know, as far as that side of it. It's just, you know, nickel and dime coin. So it's when certain countries in the world start acquiring, it means stuff. So recently, China, because China had a couple of years ago, China started getting rid of their gold because it had so much of it. They actually have to run half of their power is from oil that they buy on the open market because they can't supply all the needs they have with their in home on their own land. So the oil they buy, they actually pay with gold bullion. That was like a thing they put out. They would only buy the barrels of oil if you, the seller, and who does it, everybody's dying, tripping over themselves to sell oil in China, was that they were going to pay you in gold, not cash or whatever, whatever, how they do it. So now they're back to, and people, it's funny how people read into things. I'm just going to assume it means there's 1 billion people there, you know, they're going through crude oil, they're putting out a lot of gold. Now they need more gold again, but people start, you know, coming up with all these crazy stories. And there's not a coin shortage. There's exactly the same amount of coin today in this country as there was yesterday. It's somewhere.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't realize it. We don't have as much gold on this earth that a lot of people know about. I mean,
yeah.
I think it might be either 32 or 34 cubic feet.
See, I always read it was enough. It was less than what you would fill in an Olympic swimming pool. And over the last 20 years, because of the ferocious, just mining, that it might be close to 2. But, you know, you read stuff, who knows? But I just know that the amount of gold in the world mined today is not what people think it is. They have no clue how literally precious gold is. There's not a lot of it out there.
Right. I know we're off topic, so I don't want to indulge into it, but I'll tell you what, Alden, the next topic that you do should be on the ratio between gold and silver, the physical, the Mother Nature ratio, and discuss that because, you know, I know a little bit of history about gold and silver just from my studies, and it would be a great topic, just an idea.
It really would, because the ratio right now is kind of crazy anyway.
Isn't it? Or just recently, silver was in the good numbers, right?
Dude, recently I seen the highest I've seen within the last 3 months was the ratio between gold and silver was 119 times.
Yeah, and you're supposed to buy at 100, or there's a number that's past it, right?
No, it's still only at $17 or $18 an ounce right now.
No, I mean that formula and what it's used for. When the ratio there's a ratio number that it's one that like between this and this you buy or you sell.
Well, see, a lot of people, that's a really, really in-depth thing. However, all I can tell you is the last 2 times
Yeah.
that I'm aware that silver made it to 100 times gold, there was a adjustment in the market, and it went back to the natural number, which is 16 to 1.
Oh wow, okay.
So
It hasn't been that for a long time. That can't be like an average, like any.
Well, 70, like at 70 to 1 for a while.
Yeah,
for a long time, it's been between 60 and 80 to 1.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought that was the average for a long time.
Well, but to see it jump up,
those numbers sound more like what I was thinking about. But it's really the numbers and all that stuff. It's again, it goes to faith in the system. And being a speculator, what a hard job. But it's because it's all a guess. It's just educated guesses. All the stock market, all the numbers, all the things. And it's nice because every once in a while you'll get one of these economists that the guy was like grassroots, self-made, blue collar, but educated as hell.
Right.
And they get into that field because most of them aren't. And they'll break it down and they'll tell you like what their projections and numbers came up with using real numbers, like manufacturing numbers, how much was mined that year, etc. They don't double talk it and they don't pad it or sugarcoat it with fake stuff. And like I've heard silver should be 200 minimum an ounce, and that was like 10 years ago. And that gold should have hit the $5,000 an ounce mark decades ago. And there's even some people that laugh at that number and say, really, realistically, gold should be $10,000 an ounce. It's real by using what's out there number, and that's like it's not even close to that. So people it doesn't bother them, but it's because it's like how many people are making decisions about real tangible gold every day? It's really a small number of us, And then even smaller, the amount that those people like, I've seen gold like 5 times in my life. 2 of them are for Alden.
The gold to silver ratio though it's an indicator, serious indicator of where we're at as far as the dollar value. I know that they use it for that as well. I'm not that familiar with that whole table. I've read a little bit about it. I know just enough to get me in trouble. Robert probably knows a lot more about it than I do, but it is something that I need to look into. And it's something that would make a great topic.
Yeah, it's definitely a factor because it's precious metal that's because it's in manufacturing and it's in all the computers, and that's why it's important to countries because we can't be a superpower without it.
I know it's safe
of electricity. That's why it's in all the chipsets, all the important parts of computers, where it does the fastest computing. It's gold. You'll hear silver is the best conductor of electricity, but it's really gold. Silver is like the second place, and the rest of it's silver coated. I strip them out of there. So yeah, that's why. I mean, I
got to take a quick break. I'll be right back.
All right.
Sure.
Thank you, Rob. I just know that that is a factor, and I know that not long after all this kind of broke loose in the last few months, that really upset that scale because up until that point it had been around the 70-ish mark. I'd seen that, and then all of a sudden I seen it skyrocket, and where silver rock bottom and gold kind of went this way, and that caused that gap to get wider, and now it's I don't know what.
Well, you also have palladium, right? And you got other precious metals that are like kept track of, and you always hear about. So the relationship of silver to gold is always the question. How do the others factor into that formula? That I don't know.
I don't know. I know that the two that they basically look at is silver and gold.
Yeah,
Platinum and palladium are
for them.
in there.
Yeah, but when they have gotten up to and past per ounce the price of gold, the value of gold at times, you know, and so it's like now they're all have to be continuing with it. So it has to be in the formula changed for it. But you never hear anybody talk about that specifically. They'll talk about the price for the day. I don't know. I do not know. I'm a coin guy. I don't know.
Yeah, that's me. I'm a coin dude.
I was told this is about proof coins, so I've got a bunch of proof information. You know what I'm saying?
But there's a lot of gold and silver stackers in our community. Trav?
What's that?
I said there's a lot of gold and silver stackers in our community, and
Definitely.
that are as well as they collect coins as well.
Yeah,
and that I know that it's kind of off topic of what we were talking about, or what we started off talking about, but it's all a part of it.
Yeah, but on scale, we are not the consumer of either. We don't even make a dent in it at all to affect 1 percentage point or 1/10 of 100 on the stock market exchange price numbers. You know what I'm saying?
Well, the industrial use of silver and gold that's a big market too.
Consumer of all the metals, man. So I mean, it's like when you read the coronavirus is out and that they didn't sell their sales of new cars for the last month was 85% down. That means that they didn't consume 85% of what the silver consumption was equivalent to. You know what I'm saying? For the month. It's been 4 months, plus or minus. So it's like I just read about all these dealerships that are going under. Airplanes, kind of like cars. They don't make as many of them, but I mean, these are industry, so they're not consuming. So where's the supply? The supply gets high when industry doesn't consume, and then what happens to price? Price goes down when supply goes up.
I also know the mines were shut. Weren't they, Robert? Weren't the mines shut down for a while? The silver mines
during the coronavirus, the gold and silver has been shut down.
That's what I thought.
As well as Lennon was just talking about it. We're supposed to have a coin shortage. A friend of mine, I've had several of the patrons of CoinUp has gotten a hold of me, and they said, what do I do with this 2020 mintage of coins? Are they going to be scarce, rare, what? And I told him, I said, today the minting process is so fast. If you was to watch coins coming out of the mint today, it would literally look like you're looking at just a line, a string. I mean, it's almost like watching this, but there might be 100 coins right there because they're just going so fast. A lot of people don't realize it. And I think this is where we're getting a lot of what I call it metal fatigue. A lot of people say die fatigue, but I don't think that's what we're seeing, where you see the pennies, especially where they're getting what looks like a double die. I think the process is so fast that the dies are heating up, and when the metal's moving so quick, it's going to soften up as well because of the heat.
Right.
And I mean, we're talking.
That makes sense.
I can't remember how many. I'm going to have to look this up because the new method today, the number is staggering how many billions of coins are run in a short period of time.
Yeah, those presses got to be going at like 20,000 plus RPM. Really.
Travis, now, I don't know if you know about this, but now remember the old mint style where it used to be a hammer and anvil?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're side to side.
Yeah.
They're vertical.
And then I just read somebody's guess of how this anomaly happened to a coin. Okay, there was something on the coin, nobody really not positive. So there was somebody that weighed in on this site and somewhat of an expert. And what they had said led me to like picture what he was talking about. He said that there's dies going on making coin here, and right adjacent another set making them, that they're that literally close, because he had said that something might have came out from that one into this chamber and was included in the strike, and I didn't know that. So I have photos of some presses and whatnot, but I've never seen a setup like that. But I've worked in like machinery and I've been around, and I know that it's like these things can change by the day, man. The technology is just like they add to these machines right there while they're running.
Well, looking or what you're talking about makes sense because of some of the anomalies, for a lack of a better term, of what I'm seeing on the coins. I mean, the Buffalo, there's a proof Buffalo nickel, the most recent one. Nobody's been able to explain it, but what you just said does make good sense. It really, truly does.
Yeah. You know, like just the common sense of what's possible if you like with machine and it's there, anything with moving parts, everything's possible.
And my question about that is, how is that going to affect long term the variety and era market?
I don't think that part of the market, the subset of era and variety to collecting, is displaced far enough. The only ones that care about it are maybe the workers who purposely make stuff that work in the mint. But like the big wigs, they're just selling gold and silver, man, and making their quotas of coin, you know, that they have to by law.
Well, I would like to answer this question from Lincoln Central. He says, what is my favorite proof or mint set year? In proof, and this may sound a little biased because I was born in 1960, but 1960 would be my favorite proof year. But that's because of all the varieties. There's literally not one coin in that set that could not be a variety. So
nice.
You got small date, you got large date, you got double dies, you've got a double die on almost every coin. Now I'm not talking the mint set. Now when it comes to mint sets, that's a different story. In a mint set, I mean, I really don't know that I've thought about that, so I don't know that I can answer that question. But that's my favorite year for the proof sets.
My proof set favorite year, I'd have to say, it'd probably be a 55. And for no reason except I like the year 55. There's no rhyme or reason to my logic. I just like 55. But I like 55.
I mean,
What's that, Travis?
oh, I say it's a good year. It's like
yeah, it's a good year.
It's a great year. It's a great car that year. It's great. Like it's in the middle of the 50s, best decade the country ever seen. The 55 double die, you know, like I mean, like 55 is like everything 55 associated is great.
And the sad part is, I've got almost every other year in the 50s except 55.
And that's about how it works. Just get used to that.
What's your favorite year, Travis?
I haven't been doing this as long as you, so it's like I'm gonna pick out of the years that like I've came across, you know. I think that makes sense. I would love to say 36 because it's first year. I wish I owned a matte proof. They made the proofs two different ways, and when they first started making them, and people didn't like them when they were matte satin. They were made to be satin, so they made them shiny, mirror field, like halfway through. So it's like you get. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but I would say I think that the man, I was tickled when I got my first 90% silver coin, and they came in the proof sets and the mint sets. You know, like as I started to learn. So really, 64. I think that's an awesome year, and even to this day, when I get them for auction or just come across a deal, I never turn them down because they always go. They sell themselves. And, you know, like 64, I kind of think of it like the 55, you know, like great year. I don't know. I wasn't alive. but as far as the coin thing, it's like it's a reoccurring year. 64s are always a big deal. You know, they're always being dealt in big volume. So I like the 64 set. And I also the key, the rose, because I like rosies. So with the W Rosie, so the 96 circulated set, it's probably one of my favorites. That's it. You get that dime, and it was such a low mintage on the dime. And the fact the way they just included it into an envelope, you know what I'm saying? Pretty.
I'll have to say another one of my favorites, and it's a newer coin, but I love the as far as sets, I love the 2009 because of the copper Lincoln penny set.
Yeah,
That's a really unique set.
yeah,
Very, very, very low mintage on the copper copper
proofs.
copy
Yeah,
of that, and so that's I have to say would be one of my favorites as well. Would be the 2009 Lincoln.
Because now all this stuff's popping in my head. Presidential dollar started. I think presidential dollar proofs are really pretty. Sacagawea, 2000. I think those proofs are gorgeous. So I forgot about that. Now they have what's the new dollar that's been around just for a few years that they make those. The
American Innovation.
Thank you, sir. The American Innovations. Not as handsome as the others, but they look similar.
I don't know if you can see that, but that's a 2009 set that I really like.
Nice. Yeah, the professional life, etc. Yeah. You got four different.
That's a set I really like because I like the 2009s.
I do like the 2019 pennies. Those are pretty nice. With the West Point, then you got the proof, and the reverse proof too, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I mean, it's like I honestly haven't found a coin that I really didn't like yet, but asking favorites and tastes. That's the good thing about this is that all my favorites have changed over and over and over and over.
It does change over the years.
The amount of stuff to learn and come across and see for the first time, it's the only thing that's gonna keep happening and recurring over and that you can count on. So it's like every time, a V nickel, never saw a V nickel. A buffalo, never saw a buffalo, etc.
Right.
You just keep going. Barber, cat bust, pine. It gets crazy. Then you get into world coin. Then it's ancients and that's a topic that maybe Robert knows. You maybe say something. Encourage everybody there for all the collectors of foreign and I mean ancients. I think somebody's trying to pass a law right now that's going to make collectors of ancients not be able to collect them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Did you know anything about that, Robert?
What was that?
About the ancients? They're trying to pass somebody wrote a bill or some legislation. They're trying to make it so that you can't legally collect them and own them.
I read a little bit about it, but I don't think it's going to float too well. However, I believe this is happening like over in Europe.
Yeah.
The only way you can actually, if you find a hidden treasure, you must report it. And I don't know, to me, it's just a way for the king to take and to make more money.
Yet the way this read was, it was more than just that. That's been an argument for like decades now with all these treasure hunters. And then the question of like international waters and borders. This one kind of was saying like there's something new and it's a big deal or a rush. That you won't be able to collect them, which the way it read was the ones that are out there that are not need to be found. They're already found. You know what I'm saying? You won't be able to buy and sell ancients. That's insane. I don't know.
Yeah, I doubt that's going to float. I know what you're talking about, but I don't think.
But the fact that somebody's trying, is they weren't yesterday. So it's like if that's the math, it's like let's snip it in the bud now. Yeah, all the coin collectors should rally and just snip it in the bud immediately. Then you don't have to worry about it down the road.
I agree with you on that.
I've got a few ancients that Robert has sent me, but I don't have many. I enjoy them though, didn't I?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so far away if I was to get into them or to collect. I've had a few. I wouldn't want to take that away from anybody who does because they're doing the same thing that I do with this coin,
Right.
Same exact experience, enjoyment, etc. So it's like I don't want to because what's going to stop them from You know they don't want to have to make coin at all. Literally, they want us all on plastic on.
Oh yeah, they're trying to,
Yeah, and then
and they will eventually, probably, but
it's almost has to be pretty close in some years. The total counting, the total making coin, the whole thing, everything, the taxes, the electricity, the toilet paper, and the buildings. When it comes down to it, there has to be years where they didn't make a profit totally. So it's like, if that's the case, too many of those years, and it's not just they've been eating on the nickel, because they've been eating on the nickel for a while now. It costs more to make the nickel than the nickel's worth. Okay, well, we make up in other places. But when you don't got nowhere to make it up, they're just going to, they'll find a reason to get around it, a way to get around it. And the only way that's going to work is, and given the chance for them to round up or down, you know what they're going to do. So it's going to cost us more exponentially. All of it will be rounded to the dollar. So it's like,
how long has Canada not made pennies now?
that's why you gotta fight to keep the change, man. Literally, pennies add up. My grandmother saved pennies for years for me and my brother from being born. She did for all the grandkids. By the time we all hit high school, we all bought our first car with the savings account my grandmother's pennies amassed to for us. A car, you know what I'm saying? So it's like pennies add up.
But what I was asking is, how long Canada not made penny?
Oh, they stopped making their cent in the 2000s. I know there's a 2012. Is it 2012 was last year?
Might have been.
2012. They're Canadians, though.
Right.
That's a joke. That's a bad joke. I love Canada. Just joking. I collect Canadian.
Backpedal, baby. Backpedal. Hurry up.
Very, very sorry. We're on the same piece of earth. I don't even see a border. I swear. I love Strange Brew. I love the movie Strange Brew. No, yeah, they let go of it. They also tried socialized medicine. That don't work either. It's different. They have a whole different system. We know that. So it's fitting, I'm sure it was easier to sell. But I've met
the U.S. has talked about it for several years now.
That are they're pissed off about the not having the penny. I've met more that way than not. But I've only met them in the coin community.
Okay.
That doesn't make no sense.
Getting back to the proof sets, I'd like to take and just clarify one thing. And I just wanted to make certain everyone knows. Proofs have actually been made originally in 1856. They started making proofs, okay?
Yeah.
They made them all the way up to 1909, where 1909 you actually had two styles of proofs, and Travis spoke on it. They had the proof in the Indian, but when it came to the Lincoln, it was only a matte proof. It's got a silky, velvety, I don't know how to describe it, but there is a well-known way of describing it. It's just a different kind of a proof. But then from 1909 to 1916, all you can find is a matte proof. And a lot of people think that the matte proof was just early die strikes. That's not true.
They're kind of burnished, but a lot of them are colored since, yeah.
Right, but you can tell the difference by looking at the rims. You got to pay real close attention to the rims on them.
What do you call the rim?
Well, the edge, the rim.
Did you have a nickname, or do any dealers call anything? The man that I worked for, the shop I worked at, he called it. He told me I was looking for, because we would go through like those age wheat cents. He called it razor rim.
Well, now, okay, they are very sharp. Now, I've heard that terminology, but I've never used it. Yeah, I've never.
You guys are telling me something I did not know, so this is cool.
Well, I can go to Yankee Stadium with all the stuff this guy
I
don't
love learning.
But when, like I say, from 1909 to 1916, I think I might have an 09 or 10. I don't remember which one it is. It might be a matte proof. I've got to take it, and I've got to get it submitted, and I just haven't done that yet.
Oh man!
Now, I've never even seen one. I heard one.
Nice.
Well, from 1916 up till 36, there was a law to where they never made no proof, no mat, no nothing. What you had to do then is you just had to go by first strikes to get you can get a proof light, but you can't get a actual proof or mat. And then from 1936, they've been making proofs all the way up to present. Now, don't go running to your red book looking for the pricing of a proof from 1856 unless you go to the individual coin, because they don't put the price of those sets in there, because they would just be absolutely ridiculously expensive.
Yeah.
The oldest, what was really unique was, I think, let's see, who was that? I'll think of his name here in a second. He had a coin collection in San Francisco at the bank, and he had, Travis, you'd love this, a complete 1871 proof set. But here's the fun part. He had all the dies, all the proof dies that were not canceled out in this set as a display. Could you?
That's crazy.
No. I think I've read it, but I can't. There's no way I'm gonna be able to remember.
I've met the guy in person. He just passed away. They just sold his set.
Oh no, not Pogue.
No. Oh gosh, I met him and I'm feeling so embarrassed because he's such a nice guy too. A very nice guy. I sat there and, believe it or not, I was a young peon, didn't know nothing about coins. And this guy has amassed, when they sold his sets, I think there was 5 sets they sold, or 5 different auctions, and it amassed well over into the tens of millions of dollars.
I bet.
I mean, he had stuff from back when Colonel Green, he had bought coins from Colonel Green, which Colonel Green was one of the
he was the one that had saved 90,000 friggin' coins on his own personal, just in his home, right? That hoard.
Right. Yeah.
I forget the exact coin, but one of the coins is he was holding the majority of them they were ever made. He had got amassed so much.
I can't even imagine having a set from the 1800s, let alone the dies that went with it.
Well, this guy,
that's cool.
I can tell you right now, this guy that I'm talking about, once the name comes to me, I'll let you know what it is. But he owned, believe it or not, guys, every one of the 1913 V nickels.
Wait a minute. At one time?
At one time.
And how many is that? How many does he say that there were made?
Oh,
are you between the 5, or was it 3 or 8?
He owned 5 at one time.
Yeah, see, because it's there's so much out there that they think there might have been 8, but the 5, and then the Walton one, the family who got that money was their father was the one that worked at the mint. He was the one that made them, right, and smuggled them out.
All I can tell you right now is I know he owned all of them. He bought them from
the dealer, the first dealer that got them, right? Because it was the dealer was asking for him.
I believe so.
People were like, why is he putting out bounties for a coin that's not even going to exist? It was absurd.
I think he paid $1,000 for all 5 of them.
Oh my God!
Yeah, from Disney.
And guys, they were forced upon him. He didn't want them initially.
Yeah,
I believe he took, and it was from the collections from the. I want to say it might have been from the Colonel Green collection, but it wasn't Mr. Green. He took in the set from the family had been transferred, and a dealer was selling it for the family.
Yeah,
and that's how that transpired. But yeah, he owned 5 of them at one time.
Wow,
that's crazy.
See, and I just thought it was crazy or really unfair that they got to auction a few years back for $3+ million too. I mean, this ain't no joke. This is changing a lot of people's life type of money. And but now if one comes to auction, they can't auction it legally. That was the last one. They let them do it. and they received the profits from the auction.
Now, which one are we talking about?
Walton Nichols, the 13.
Oh, well,
About the unless it's changed since that was associated with that sale. They were going to it was a big deal. Like they let them sell it legally because it's no different than if you found an aluminum cent. If they're not supposed to be out of the mint, and if they're the real deal.
The only aluminum cent that I'm aware of that's legal to sell is the one that's sold in California, and that's because the guys that owned it, it was his father who got it from the mint because he was working at the mint and he minted those coins, and the director of that mint gifted him one on his retirement.
I didn't know.
Yes.
They destroyed them all, right?
Supposedly, but there's supposedly in the black market, there's several out there, just as the same with the 19th.
There's only one legal one, right?
Pardon me?
There's only one legal one.
Only one?
It happens often. All the coins, the patterns that dignitaries had gotten through the years. I mean, there's a lot of coin out there that no one else could ever have, and it's just because of the way they got it. So it's not their fault that they have it; they were gifted it. So yeah, that makes perfect sense for them to be able to have it and sell it.
Well,
I thought the one that sold was never attributed. That they hadn't said the mint didn't say it was legit.
I think it sounds to me like you're referring to the 33 Double Eagle.
Okay, I probably am.
Yeah, it's the only one that is legal to sell because the other 24, 25 that were found was from a family, and he took, and it's still in court, in fact, but they took it, I think there was another dozen. They sent all of the dozen to the mint for them to see if they were actually legitimate.
Yeah.
And when they did that, the mint confiscated them and said they were stolen.
Oh, Lord.
So that right there, by the sale of the only one that is legal to own, which sold for $11-point-something million, multiply that times 12.
Man. Yeah.
I'll be right back, folks.
You have industry money just in one coin right there.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of chickens.
Well, I do know, as far as I'm aware, and see, here's what I don't understand. In 1974, Richard Nixon had said that any coin that was minted at the mints, whether they were in error or not, was legal to own, because people were talking at the time about certain other coinages. And I would have thought that the 64 piece dollar, the 33 Double Eagle, and all that would have been included. But apparently there's something that they got away. Either that or they're claiming they were stolen. However, I know the 64D piece dollar, there was one guy who said, it was common practice to get $1 if you gave the mint $1 and you could take it home as your own souvenir. Well, the next day, the mint official said, you got to bring them all back. And one of the guys supposedly said, hey, I bought a beer with it last night on my way home. And he said, he didn't have it. So is that one legal to own or not? It was not stolen.
Yeah, it just depends on if the government presses the issue and takes them the litigation, But like being a layman, not a lawyer, I would assume that after it's all said and done, that it would pan out good for him. It'd probably be legal to own. But how are you going to out money and out lawyer
right there
the government? I mean, litigation's the single tool that's used by all corporations to not pay people what they're due. They've locked up in litigation for decades.
Well, for those 12 Double Eagles,
damn it.
I mean, think about it. They have already spent well over $11 million in the legality so far. They still don't have them.
Yeah. Now, do you happen to know the name? I can see it, but I don't know the name. And the prince, like the Prince of Brunei or whatever, Farouk or whatever, he owns both. There's only two in existence. and he's got them. They're like our country's rarest coin. They're like they're the auction record holders too, I believe, like $40 million for a coin.
King Farouk had the doubled eagle.
Two, was
yeah.
there two?
And that one sold, as you know, for 11 million. I'm not certain about who has. I can tell you this much right now. A good friend of mine, Brad Karloff, he works for Coins Plus. He was over in Germany like a year or two ago, and he found another example
of
I want to say 1796 silver dollar that was unknown of, but it was, as you say, it was given as a dignitary, and it's over at the Mint or at a museum in Germany, and he got to take photographs and things of that nature. And I think there's going to be an article written up on it.
Oh, wow.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, heck yeah. Yeah, that's real interesting. There's a lot of that type of thing. One of the ones that I really get a kick out of is one of the workers that worked at the Mint who that's the only way it could happen. Nobody knew. And the lady who had the capped bust, one of the dies, just one die, and it had been sitting holding a door open on the interior of the house for like 20 years before anybody even knew what it was. And it was like a perfect, they hadn't canceled it, and they actually had brought it back for restrikes, used it. And it was sitting in this like lady's house for like 20 years or something. And it was, she didn't even know what it was the whole time. And I don't know if it was I think it was her son or husband or whoever it was that passed. They weren't around, but it was a cap bust die, man. That's pretty cool. But you just have to, we're all adults.
Well, a good friend of mine,
happens, and it's all human. Everything's done by human to err is human, and the temptation, that working in the Mint around money is, and then if they happen to know just a little bit about coin, it would have to be like, how does a police officer who comes across $1 million and knows you could get away with taking 1,000, would they do it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
what was you saying, Robert, about a friend of yours?
Are walked out of the Mint, air variety, which is, it's all right with me.
No, I was just going to mention back in 1998, a guy named Jay Turner bought my first ever coin from eBay. He was into coins. I sold a variety. Well, he moved on and he went to work for NGC as a grader for decades. Then he just got through going to work for PCGS. And I just happened to see an article where he was over in Paris for PCGS doing some grading. And one of the original Continental dollars was found in a 50-cent junk box.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I mean, who has luck like that? Not me.
Well, that guy did, and it was appraised at either $92,000, $94,000, or $96,000.
God.
In that condition for 50 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a junk box of all places.
Score.
And you never know what you're going to come across. I mean, you don't. You really don't.
Well,
but it's impossible to know it all. That's why.
Yeah.
There's dealers who just there's lots of stuff that they're not privy to because
what's amazing to me as a newer collector, I've only been into this about 3 years or so, and my knowledge is, I try to learn and I'm learning, but before I ever knew anything about coin, I just wonder how many coins passed through my hands that was worth something that I knew nothing about.
Yeah. I try not to think about it.
In 60-something years, probably quite a few.
Yeah. I took that coin right there.
Let's see.
All right. Yeah, I see it.
Okay. I took and I found one of those in the junk box. and I took and I had it for many years, and I can't say who, but I had done a lot of research, and you can tell the originals from the counter strikes or the restrikes, okay?
Right.
And I was getting ready to send it in, and a couple of coin people were at my house, and I was running in and out, not really paying much attention. I thought I could trust them. But after that, I took and I could never find that coin again in my collection.
Oh no.
I mean, it's not super valuable, but
No, but still, I mean, yeah, I know what you're saying.
I was a little upset.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would upset me too. I'm sure it would have Lemon.
Yeah.
Things like that just should not happen. I mean,
Put it lightly, I'd be upset. It more in heart. I mean, like, it's a letdown. You know, I don't get upset like I would have if I was the 20, 30-year-old living. Let's put it that way.
If I'd been a 20 or 30-year-old, I probably would have went to their house and either got shot or shot somebody.
I didn't say it. I didn't. YouTube. Hell yeah, I would. It'd be one of those days, boy. I could make you guys' day bad back then, but now, you know, I might throw a zinger or a Twinkie at you or something. Yeah, but it's
been on it for an hour and a half. I want to go ahead and put this down a little bit, but
people don't have morals no more. You know, it's like is there nothing holy left? Nothing.
Really.
Like really, there's nothing. There's no. People don't even care how they're thought about by their neighbor anymore. Like
That's
that.
True.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. I want to thank you both for being here tonight.
Thank you for inviting me.
And hang around afterwards. We'll talk a little bit. And I want to thank everybody in chat for coming tonight. I know I haven't been on in a few weeks, and it'll either be next week or the following week. We will do a follow-up on this on the silver versus gold ratio. And that's a really good idea from Robert. And he's going to make me do my homework, aren't you, Robert? But it is a great topic, and it is something I think needs to be touched on. That I've not seen a whole lot on, so we'll attempt to attack that. And now, Robert, your next auction is Wednesday, right?
Yes, yeah. Thank you, Alden. I'm going to take in Tuesday. I'm supposed to be meeting with the people from Sharonville Convention Center for the 37th annual Cincinnati Coin Show. And we're supposed to be getting the latest update as far as guidelines to have the actual coin show. So on Wednesday at my 3:00 p.m. auction, that's Eastern Standard Time, I will take and I'll be updating everybody as to two things. As far as we know, the show's going to go on, but I will know any pertinent information that anybody will need to know if you want to come to the show.
Sounds good. And Travis, have you got an auction coming up Tuesday, I believe?
Yeah, every Tuesday. Roughly 3 p.m. But I don't advertise time. All you have to do is subscribe or click the bell, and the bell will give you notification. So
and I
pretty privy to all that.
I encourage everybody to do that, to everybody on panel and everybody in chat.
Oh, yeah.
Stay in contact with each other. So have a great week. Stay safe.
You want to do a giveaway, Alden?
Huh?
You want to do a giveaway?
We can.
All right. I got a trivia question. It's kind of proof related. And I'll donate the giveaway. What do you think?
All right. Sounds good. And we'll go with Lincoln's goal. And you want to do the number? You want me to, Trav?
Well, I was going to ask you a question.
Yeah, do the question. That's great.
It could be a hard question, or it could be relatively easy. I don't know. It's one of the things like I didn't know it till I knew it, but I came across it again today, and I thought that would be a good trivia question.
Well, and before we do this, I wanted to just say that I usually put this in the description. I didn't tonight because I didn't know we're going to have a giveaway. But this giveaway is done by Alden Davis. It has no affiliation to YouTube. So this is completely on us. And got to be 18 to run to
Yeah, I'm taking full responsibility. I'm donating it, so it's
there you
totally
go.
independent of YouTube. That covers all the legal
There
side.
you go. Let me go over here to the YouTube side. So we're gonna have a giveaway, guys. And
Shut it.
Lincoln, are you in chat?
Yep, he's in chat.
All right.
So I would just say, I'll ask the question in the easy. It's just the first to answer, but it has to be the first answer on your screen because it's your screen takes precedent, and everybody. I think live chat, right? You're probably on live chat, Alden.
Yep. Sure am.
Okay, and I see the moderator says if Hidden wins, send it to Lincoln. You got it. No problem. No problem. So just say win, boss.
You go ahead and ask the question, and nobody answer it until you see go from Lincoln.
Okay, you ready for me?
I'm ready for you, brother.
All right. What Mint's nickname is the Granite Lady? What Mint nickname is the Granite Lady? Granite, like not marble, granite. You know what I mean? I did ask her, Hidden, I'm gonna find you. You know that. I got a bag full of gold over there with your name on it. Or do I? Oh.
Melissa said, "All."
I see the answer. If you want to, it's
Go ahead and call. Go ahead and call it, Trap.
Yeah,
my screen is running.
You tell me who it is on your screen. Then in this fun, this is justice right here. It's the San Francisco Mint. It's the second building. They actually built the second building. The first one they outgrew, but it was still San Francisco Mint, and the nickname was, and it still is, long life, Granite Lady. Granite Lady. I like the P guess. Just P. Philly.
I have Hidden. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. So
I have Hidden on my screen.
Lincoln. Congratulations to Lincoln. Oh, I'm joking. Hey, congrats, Hidden. You didn't jump in there and guess right away either. So it's like, did you take your time and think about it, or did you look it up, or?
He looked it up.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, right on. So congrats, man. And you don't have to worry about sending me your info because I have your info. I have a holding bag for you. So it'll just be put in your bag. Everything I put in there, I label and date, so you'll know.
And the prize you won, Hidden, is this penny.
And these rules, copper rules. Hey, we found some good ones today. 1964 DDR number 19.
Well, congratulations, Hidden.
Proofs, like you were saying, and I think I found the 60, 58, number 1 RPM on the 58 Denver.
Uh-huh.
And what was the last one? Only 3 things today. Oh, number 6 DDO on the 72. Sweet. That's not bad. 2 of them are like BU coin, so it's always nice to find stuff on a red coin.
Well, I hope everybody had a good time tonight, and I know I learned a little something. And so we'll definitely be back either next Sunday or the following. We'll I'll announce it. And I want to thank Robert, and I want to thank Lemon for being here, for helping me tonight.
Yeah, always, man. Anytime.
Hang around, and God bless and Godspeed. Have a good week, all.
Be well, everyone.
Take care.
See you, Rob.
See ya.